Clay's Porch Sessions. Doctor points to a shadow on the x-ray. A tropical storm gets a name. Mama gets a knock on her door much too late. Nobody knows the over-under. Living between lightning and thunder. Barreling down the highway when the brakes go, the foundation gives way below. After some clean time, it's a first shot of dough. Nobody knows the over-under. Living between lightning and thunder. From the moment we're born to the moment we're put 600, we're all living between lightning and thunder.
So I want to thank y'all for coming down to my house today and hanging out on the porch with me for Clay's Porch Sessions.
Do I have shit on my face?
Yeah. This is the Couldn't Be Happiers. It's Jordan and Jodi.
Yes.
Yeah, so the main focus of this is to play your music, your original music, and put that in front of people. But I want to let people know a little bit more about you. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions.
Okay.
I'm going to ask everybody that comes on this little show the same 3 questions.
Yep.
First one's timed, just so we can keep it going.
Okay. Can you handle that?
I'm nervous. It feels like a test.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
When the buzzer goes, man, we're cutting the camera off.
Okay.
So
You ready?
next, I'm going to ask you how long your songs are. If they go a second over, it's just no
Okay.
ending. So you get 3 minutes, and I just want you to tell us who the Couldn't Be Happiers are, and you tell me when you're ready. Okay, let's go.
Ready, set, go. You.
We are an indie folk Americana mishmash that is about joy and second chances and a whole lot of songwriting. So Jodi and I were both in previous marriages, not to each other, to other people. And artistry and performing especially were not looked upon highly. Like, we both had spouses that didn't like us being the center of attention because they did not like being the center of it. They just they
Right.
found it uncomfortable. They weren't being dicks. They were just, they didn't love that, you know, oh my God. And I talk very loud and I make lots of scenes in public because I like to be the center of attention as often as I can. And so when we found each other, so we had sort of been like, our sort of artistic impulses had been oppressed somewhat. And when we found each other, we went 180 and did the opposite.
Absolutely. I would say we're just as much about doing our songs as we are like our stage rapport and being comfortable with each other and teasing one another whenever we can. So, and I actually really like our songwriting together. I think our style of songwriting, it's not the songwriting that I would do by myself, and it's not the songwriting that Jordan would do by himself. It's its own little weird thing that's just wonderful, and I love it.
Still have plenty of time.
Yes.
You want to keep
Okay,
rolling?
we can keep
Yeah,
going.
please.
I mean, you can cut us off whenever, but
No, you'll hear the buzz.
it's hard to gauge, like how much time you
I think
have.
that was pretty good. I'm gonna pause it and we'll just talk about that for a second. The first time I saw you was not your original music. I saw you at a Vagabond Saints show. If you don't know what that is, Vagabond Saints is a Winston communal exercise put together by everybody's best friend Doug Davis, Jerry Chapman, Corky McClellan, and Randall Johnson. So it was the Cars. So y'all get up and do the Cars, and this was at the street scene thing. And I remember, I think Ian might have been with me. I'm pointing off camera to my son. And I remember going, that's the weirdest harmony for a Cars song I've ever heard. Not in a bad way, but I was like, I was not expecting that at all. So, and I hadn't met you then. I think we had met in passing, and you might have asked me about singing something.
No, I messaged you,
That's what it was.
and you told me unceremoniously to fuck off. that you could not help
I did
me.
not say that in any way.
You said, I don't take in orphans who don't know how to play music.
And another pause. I'm gonna. I love that you're a better smartass than I am. I even told my son that before. I was like, "You're gonna love this guy because he's a bigger smartass than you." And that's fantastic.
It's born of deep, deep insecurity.
You know, most musicians I know, especially frontmen, are.
Yeah.
So when I had to rewrite these lyrics to put it on my record, I was 50. I was 48. And I had lost like 3 friends in the last year. So these songs about, well, obviously the first verse is about, I've come to the time in my life when people are starting to say goodbye, and that's a permanent goodbye, or they move away, or, they're just, you part ways with those people you spent your whole life with, or your formative years for your 20s up. And as we were doing it, my friend George Wagner was dying in Florida. He had moved back to Florida. I actually performed his wedding. But he had moved to Florida, and I had talked to him on the phone. His mom had said, George is going to die. There's my neighbor right there. And that's Domenico Coppola. His family owns Coppola's. That's an unintentional plug. You can keep that in there. So I called George and talked to him. He could barely understand him. And for the only time I've ever talked to him, he talked about how he was a believer, which was cool. He talked about Jesus. So the bridge of this song, when I play it live, I mention George, and on the record it was Tony.
I see.
But it's about my friend George Wagner, who passed away 7 years ago this month.
Oh.
And y'all were in like first grade. Come to a time I feel so lost, 'cause all my friends have said goodbye. Search for answers, woe is lies. Been way down low, so now I'm begging on high. But oh no, I've run out of time. Oh no, well, what if I walk the line? Oh no, 'cause I've been buried alive. I feel the God that I know I defied. Somebody please send me an angel before it's time. Somebody please send me an angel before I die. Before I die, yeah. And the angel sing. Angel sing. Send me an angel. Doesn't pay to look back now, but I go there a lot in my mind. Oh, can't take away all the pain. Good times I had, they were built on your cries, but oh no, I've run out of time. Oh no, well what if I walk the line? Oh no, 'cause I've been buried alive. I feel the God that I knew I defied. Somebody please send me an angel before it's time. Somebody please send me an angel before I die. Before I die, yeah. I was talking with my old friend Georgie, and our last words on the phone, he was saying something about Jesus. Can you hear them angels? I hear them moan, and I don't want to go out like Elvis. Don't want to be alone in the end. So if you want, we can get you out of this. Just take this love, my only friend. Somebody please send me an angel for it's time. Somebody please send me an angel before I die. Before I die, yeah. Somebody please send me an angel. 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 So kind of rolling off that
Oh wait, I want to talk about those harmonies. The thing that this is
Oh,
actually a
please.
good segue.
Please, yeah.
So neither of us have musicians in our family. I just had a love of some of those Texas singer songwriters, and the first time I saw Jerry Jeff Walker perform live, I was like, "This is what I want to do."
Right.
And so everything we've done is really, I mean, we've gotten help along the way, you know, like lessons and stuff, but we don't know how to read music. We didn't play in band or orchestra. So I think it actually, I mean, some of the weird harmonies come from that place of, let's just try some stuff and see if it sounds cool, because we didn't know what we were doing. I mean, we do now. We know how to walk through the first, third, and fifth of a chord, but back, you know, when we were feeling stuff out,
Y'all
we
can
didn't.
teach me that at some point.
So
So you bring up my next question. So you brought up Jerry Jeff Walker. I'm not going to hold you to his name, but can you tell me, and you each get to answer this question, well, who are your top 3 favorite artists and why? Don't.
So I get to go first. Nobody's going to judge me for this because
There's no judgment.
You know who one of them's going to be.
but this is important for our careers.
Well,
So if you
okay,
make us look like,
So there's no judgment. So like this is kind of like when people ask you what your guilty pleasure song is.
Okay.
That's such a BS question because you either like something or you don't.
Right. It's why
and
should
there's
you
no
feel
problem
guilty?
with any of it. So
Yeah.
so there's no judgment.
I agree. All right.
So don't laugh off camera.
Nobody. I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan.
What's wrong with that?
Love her, and I do. People give me shit for that.
No.
What is wrong with you? She's like a mega artist. Clearly, she's doing something right. I think she's a fabulous melody writer. She's a great lyricist, and I just think she seems like a really nice person.
She seems like a good kid.
Yeah,
I'm old,
exactly.
so I can call her a kid.
I can call her a kid. She's younger than me, so.
I've got one her age.
I think Taylor Swift's great. I just don't think your obsession is proportional to how good she is.
And
It's-
that's why she's selling out stadiums.
That's right.
I
And
know.
giving away $500,000 to food banks. It's amazing.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
So I love Taylor Swift.
Yep.
She is probably my absolute favorite. And I really love a band called Shovels and Rope. It's
Okay.
another guy-girl duo, and they're based out of Charleston.
They play at the Ramcat some.
They did. We're going to go see them again, actually. We
Who
went to see them
introduced you
last year.
to Shovels and Rope?
So Jordan actually introduced me to Shovels
It's
and
weird
Rope.
because this is back when we weren't in a romantic
We didn't even
relationship.
really know each other very well. I think I mentioned we used to play in this circle together, and I played a song by the Civil Wars, which was a great guy-girl duo.
Mhm.
And Jordan was like, "Hey, if you like them, you might like Shovels and Rope. They're a little more raw, a little more rock." And like I was just hooked on them right away. I loved them. Carrie Ann's voice is just so unique and cool. I just fell in love with it right away. That's another thing. I just really am attracted to like interesting female vocals. And so another band I really love, I don't know if
This has got to be your third, though.
I know I don't know if I can say they're my top 3 or not, but
You have to.
okay.
This is forever.
Okay.
That's right. And you can never
you
change
can
it.
never
I could
change
never
after
I
that.
never can change it. Damn, it's a lot of pressure.
Oh.
I love this band called Wild Rivers. It's another guy-girl duo. They just opened for the Chicks in Greensboro. But part of the reason I think I just love them is I love her voice. It's so unique and so beautiful. It just gives you like, you know, makes the hair on your arms stand up sometimes, and it's just amazing. So
They're fine.
You know, I think that my 22-year-old would match you on those.
yeah,
For some, not maybe favorites, but she listens to all those. I've heard of all of
yeah,
them.
exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
so basically, I'm young at heart.
You're
They are younger.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Jordan?
Guy Clark, Todd Snyder, and probably Jerry Jeff Walker.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, give me a
that's
Y for all of them.
They all have unique voices. They're not necessarily like good trained singers,
Right.
right? And I think there was something to that. Like I'm not a natural singer, so I always found that attractive that you could play music and vocalize and be compelling without like having like a traditionally or classically
Sure.
trained voice. So I always thought that was cool. Maybe I should have said Robert Earl Keen. Nonetheless,
It's too late.
what
This is
all
forever.
three of these artists
can't
do,
change it.
that's fine. I'll take it. What all three of those artists could do is they would write these like narrative forms of songwriting that when you grow up listening, and I loved alt rock growing up and stuff and hip hop in the 90s. But then in high school, when I heard some of these singer-songwriters and they would have like a 5 or 6 minute narrative song
Right.
that didn't really have a chorus, it was just like a hook. I was like, I didn't know you could do that. And it'd be like a little short story in like a 6 minute song, and just the command over language. I just thought it was amazing. And yeah, I think that I used to be attracted probably to like the like Payne Troubadour at some point,
Okay.
but you know, you grow out of that.
Do you?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a hard life, you know. Like I used to love hearing the stories about Steve Earle and Townes Van Zandt, and like it was pretty miserable though,
Right.
you know. And so
That's fair. And
Here.
Atticus.
once upon a time, tobacco built this town. Litigation knocked it down a notch or two. We got a high rise, it's filling up again. It's been half abandoned since the banks withdrew. Down on Trade Street was our favorite breakfast spot. Now it's a Cuban restaurant we like the same. In the past 10 years we've had 8 rock and roll clubs, just not at once, but the crowd don't change. Don't take me out to sea when there's nothing left of me but ash and dust. Spread me around the mid-sized city, hanging on the edge of boomer bust.
Well, I come from a mill town at the foothills of the pines, where if you try to climb, they'll drag you down.
And I come from the concrete of the Metroplex, where even at your best, you're bound to drown.
No one talks about it, but there's somewhere in between. Whatever you want to be, you decide.
You can be a big star, everybody'll know your name, but if that ain't your game, there's room to hide. Don't take me out to sea when there's nothing left of me but ash and dust. Spread me around the mid-sized city, hanging on the edge of boomer bust. Well, the middle has a cost. If we don't fight, then it's all lost. We know just who we are and who we're not. We've lost battles before, but we won't lose the war here on the edge. We give 'em all we got. Don't take me out to sea when there's nothing left of me but ash and dust. Spread me around a mid-sized city, hanging on the edge of boomer bust. We'll be hanging on the edge of boomer bust.
I love that one of y'all in one of the texts that we exchanged said that my songs always remind you of a soundtrack song. I think this is
Yeah, it
you.
was me.
And I think that comes from a difference in age and a difference on what was popular growing up. I mean, I came from everything had to have a huge hook.
It feels so epic.
Right.
Exactly.
So everything I write is always I'm aiming for, there needs to be a hook in the verse, there needs to be a huge hook in the chorus, and then it needs to have a bridge that kind of inverts all that and knocks it, back into a big guitar solo. And you guys don't fall into that trap, which is great. I mean, your songs have hooks, but you're not formulaic in that way. And I think that's great.
That's really good to hear, because I think every songwriter starts to worry, am I getting formulaic when you start? Because I feel like that sometimes. I'm like, okay, verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus. I'm just looking at the structure sometimes. I'm like, am I doing the same thing over and over? And I think sometimes we are aware of that and we do it on purpose.
Right.
And then sometimes we write a song that just comes out and it is whatever it is. There's really not a particular structure sometimes. And those are always kind of fun.
I think also that's born of necessity again too. Again, I never felt like I could sing, never had musical training, but I've got a degree and a master's degree in literature, so I've read a lot, and so the language mattered to me, right? Well, Jodi's got this big, powerful voice, and she's also really inspired by a lot of pop music,
Right.
And so when you combine it, then you get to kind of do them both,
Right.
So again, just sort of what happens when you put two people together who have really different musical backgrounds.
Yeah.
And very different tastes. I mean, you can just tell by our favorite artists.
Right.
I mean, it took us a really long time, I think, to learn to kind of write together because we have such different styles.
How dare you tell me?
Have you written with anybody outside?
It's like that.
Have y'all written without another person?
No.
We've tried. It didn't work.
Not really. I mean,
I don't like it. It's
I-
hard enough
I get
to
that.
listen, we had like that three pop song thing because I had written some pop songs that I wanted to do. And I had a guy who sort of put all those together for me. But
Remember how pitiful I was during all that? And
he was so pitiful.
You like,
It was like,
I was like, just
how
threw
could you do this?
a man
to
baby
me?
fit all the time. I hated it.
And
That was horrible.
I had to do all the singing by myself, and there was one song that that I wanted to be a duet, and I forced him to sing it. And like trying to get Jordan to sing with pop vocals was like he hated every second of it.
Well, I'm a low baritone, first of all, and she writes these songs that are really probably for a tenor, so it's a big stretch for me to get up there anyway.
That's good for you.
Yeah, it didn't feel very good for me. Felt bad for my blood pressure.
But you tried it.
He tried it,
That's all
and
right.
it came out.
Did we keep it?
It's on Spotify.
No, thanks.
We have 3
Thanks,
listeners
Melodyne.
on that one.
You've written a bunch of songs. You perform live, which is great. What's your favorite song to perform?
We each get to choose.
Yeah.
Okay, you go first.
What's your favorite song you wrote? What's your favorite? So it's 2-part. If it's the same answer, that's great. I'd be surprised by that. But your favorite to perform, your favorite that you wrote.
Do you want me to go first? You still thinking?
I know my favorite that we get to perform
Okay.
is probably Frankie, Take It to the Grave.
Really?
Yeah, because your
Okay.
voice is it's just so remarkable. And it's like, and I don't really do much during that song,
Okay.
so I just get to kind of, I mean, I play rhythm guitar, but I don't really sing much on it, some
Right.
harmony here and there, so I just get to kind of like sit back and like let her rip. It's cool.
That's cool.
I always love that part of the show.
You know? Do you know which one mine's gonna be?
Nope. I don't.
I'll give you one guess.
Fuck, I have no idea.
It's Treehouse.
Oh God, yeah, I don't like doing that.
He
one
doesn't
that
like it's one of my favorites because it feels like a Johnny and June. It's back and
Okay.
forth. I like the drum part that I get to play on it because Jordan likes to do this weird thing when he writes where he'll have a song that's 4/4 or 2/4 and then he goes into a 3/4 here and there in the chorus
Again,
or something.
because I didn't know that
Well,
I
it
was
feels right.
doing that.
Right.
Yeah,
so-
yeah,
so-
yeah,
so
that's
this
right.
is
man.
what
It's
it
not
needs to
about
be.
100%.
Fits, so yeah.
Exactly. And so Corky actually played the drums on our album for that song.
That's
'cause-
Corky McClellan.
Corky McClellan. Yeah, and because I struggled with it. I was like, I don't know. I'm a baby drummer. I was struggling with how to deal with that song. But after he put it together, I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. And so for me, when it finally clicked, I was so proud of myself too for like learning how to play that on the drums. Plus, it's just got this great chorus where you get to yell, "You and I, damn it, will survive," and like that's a great line
That's a great
to
line.
yell in a song. So
That's a great line to write in a song.
yeah,
What's your favorite song you've written?
favorite one that I've written.
Yeah.
Or as
Or
a group.
breathe.
Yeah.
It's probably Frankie or Plastic Bag, one of those two. What about you?
I think the Frankie one is interesting because you did most of the, like, I had that concept idea for it when we were in Paris, and then you did the writing and ran with it, which was cool.
Yeah, but we got in some huge fights over it because I would like write something and he would read it and he'd be like, "It's not good enough. Like, go do it again."
So you produced it. You
He
produced
was
it.
like,
Yeah.
these he's like, and with Jordan, it's never really about the melody. It's always about the story and the words that I choose or that he selects.
That's that literature degree.
Yeah. And
Which
he's
most of the time nobody cares about.
right.
that
Well,
part anyway,
but and it's funny, the two of us, I care more about consonants and words, like where they land.
Yeah.
So I might make a different word choice because of the way I want it to hit than he would. And so we sometimes will argue about that because he's like, well, yeah, but I want a word that means this definition. And I'm like, well, this is close enough and it sounds better. It's just the little things that a lot of people probably don't even really think about when they hear the songs.
Oh no.
yeah. And
Think about all the fighting we've done, like trying to work a song out. And
it's the biggest thing we have conflict about,
yeah. So
for sure.
How about you?
Jackson Square.
Okay.
This
And-
is go ahead.
I was gonna say, by the way, at the end of this episode, we'll link there, and in the comment box down there, there'll be links to their Spotify or YouTube or whatever they choose to link. We'll put that there, so these songs you can go find. Right.
When Jodi and I first started dating, we were both recently divorced, and so we met up in New Orleans because we didn't want to meet up in Winston.
Yeah.
And then we didn't want to meet up in San Antonio because you just don't want to run into people and like you know the whispers to start. And we both independently had deja vu moments while we were in New Orleans, and so I wrote this song about dancing in Jackson Square with Jodi and having deja vu. I love the way that song came out.
And I get to take credit for this song only because there are a million great songs in the like Jordan scrap pile of songs that never make it to like become a full song. And this is one that I feel like I sort of like snatched back out of the pile because he started it and he had like this chorus and he was going to scrap it. And I was like, no. You're going to finish this one.
Yeah, now it's my favorite. I don't know.
That's awesome. 21 when the army let him out. Wife and kid and no hope in this small town. Trying to find work, got no money in the bank. Just one mistake and their lives forever changed. Never heard the truth, just whispers in the wind. Something happened while Papa was out paying rent. No one knows, I guess they never will. Some secrets stay shut. All I know is the biscuits ain't rising, they ain't been cut. No. Sawed off gun, yeah, life ain't shorter.